Hey Aaron, you got back from EA Plays. You got to check out Wattson, played a little bit with the L-Star. Excited to check out, Battle Charge on the second, but tell me how she feels and what you played with.
Yeah, we actually became champions with Wattson in one round, which was kind of awesome. Now, granted, people aren't really used to her abilities yet, but she's supposed to be a anti-charger. So she's basically a character who can put up fences. She can put up a lot of fences. I think that was one of the biggest takeaways when I was playing with her, is that it's up to 12. And I think this is going to be a big deal at the beginning of rounds, in particular when people aren't well armed. But even later on, you can go through a choke point, you can set up a couple of fences, and you can even come back later and link more fences to those fences. So there was once or twice where we were fighting over a hill and fighting back, and I was basically laying fences and covering us as we retreated. Those fences do three things. So they will ping a character, an enemy character who runs through them. They'll do a little bit of damage, and they will slow that character. So in particular, we were talking to developers about Octane, and he said he wasn't sure if it would cancel Octane's stim, but it would actually definitely slow down Octane. So the thing about these fences is I'm not sure if they'll ever completely stop anybody. Kind of like how when Bangalore first appeared, and when the game launched and nobody ran into her smoke, and then all of a sudden everybody ran into her smoke. So we'll see what happens in the meta over time. These fences might end up being more alert systems than something people will be fully afraid to run through.
Yeah.
But they'll give your team a lot of they'll give your team an idea of what's around you, and particularly if someone's trying to flank you.
So unfortunately, I don't think you got your chance to capture any gameplay, even though like you said, you won a match. So obviously some of the footage you're seeing here is not representative of Wattson or the L-Star. Who do you think she plays well with, in terms of composition? Who would you pair Wattson with as a team to really succeed with her?
So the developer mentioned she pairs really well with Caustic, particularly in the last circle. She can set up her fences literally, and she can also set up her interceptor pylon, which she can get only using one ultimate accelerant. So she can stockpile ultimate accelerants, and then at the end of a round, actually just eat one, put down a grenade interceptor, eat one, put down a grenade interceptor, and then have Caustic set up his traps. And you basically have an environment where people can't throw grenades or any throwables into it. They get alerted, or they alert the other team if they enter it, and then they get gassed and start taking extra damage. So she can be very effective if you can cordon off an area. So one really interesting thing about the interception pylons, which is her grenade interceptor, is it only takes one ultimate accelerant to get one down. So you can throw one down, eat an ultimate accelerant, get one down. They have a surprisingly huge range. For example, I threw one down and Bangalore's Metal Rain ultimate came down, Rolling Thunder, and it actually was zapping her ordnance out of the sky as it came down. It almost negated a section of her Rolling Thunder, which was really fascinating.
That's crazy, because you would think that could happen on Gibraltar's ult potentially, or just a bunch of other things, actually.
This might be kind of like what happened in Titanfall, where anything that's actually a physical projectile can maybe be stopped by it. Not like guns, but any sort of throwable, including some of the ultimates. So that was really, really cool. One other thing I would like to mention is it actually protects the fence. So you can destroy the fence. I didn't do it myself, but they said that you could throw a grenade in front of the fence and blow up the pylons. So there are ways to destroy the fence pylons, but this interceptor will stop that from happening. So it reinforces everything that you do with the fence. And what might happen is you might get to the last circle and there's just gonna be a giant mass of fences and then all these grenade interceptors everywhere, and it's gonna be tough to break in. Now, people who counter her, probably Octane and Pathfinder, because they can probably both go up and over her fences and sort of negate what she's
kind of her ability, yeah. But you also got to check out the L-Star. It looked pretty amazing, at least in the trailer. How did it feel to use it? Was it as OP as the developer on the stage said it was? And how does it compare kind of to some of the other package weapons, the Kraber and the Mastiff?
The L-Star is a much more straightforward weapon. I feel like a lot of the care packages drop items that are specialty and you have to be kind of good at them. But the L-Star is basically just a very strong, LMG class energy weapon. It does have a pretty quick overheat mechanic, so you have to, feather it or like back off a little bit. But in general, I think it's going to be sort of the layman's thing that you pull out of that package, like the care packages. It's very effective, and it's definitely something you notice when somebody's shooting it. I got my hands on it. I dropped a couple of players while playing it as Wattson. So yeah, it's probably like the least specialty item that comes out of those care packages.
Gotcha.
They did say that when the event starts, they will drop them more often to get people used to them at the beginning of rounds. And then as the next season progresses, they'll just move back towards end of round, or more likely to drop at the end of a round.
Cool. Yeah, looking forward to Battle Charge. Obviously, we're like a couple weeks away. The Hunt event's going on right now. Any final thoughts in terms of just like what you played? Are you excited to kind of like play now that there is a new legend, or what are your thoughts?
As somebody who enjoys defensive characters, I know you really like hard charging characters, but Wattson really gives you. She's much faster than you would think. Like, she can put down fences very quickly. You don't really have to. In the developer event, they imply that you had to plan everything out. That's not really true with her. You can actually do a lot of things on the fly with her. So she's like a very fast defensive character, and I think she'll go a long way towards having teams stop just charging you every 3 seconds as soon as they see you.
All right, that was great insight from Aaron in terms of his hands-on experience with Wattson and the L-Star. I'm looking forward to learning the character on July 2nd when Battle Charge comes out.